Howie Roseman with $27 million is like Philly 500 at a buffet in Las Vegas with nobody else around. It's going down. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, kick Dingbat here, and $27 million in cap space for Howie Roseman. $27 million. That's like, I don't know, Jerry Jones at 10,200 years old having illegitimate children. You know they're out there, and it's just a matter of when before they find them. It's just the way it is. Howie Roseman is not done yet. Get that through your skulls. He is going to strike again. To what level, I don't know. But he's got way too much cap space to be working with this time of year. It's going to happen. Now, before we get into it and everything else I want to talk about, a few things I want to say. First off, happy Memorial Day to each and every one of you guys. To all those who have served, those who are serving, and even those who will serve in the future. Thank you so much for your service. Those who have sacrificed their lives for us, we appreciate it, and thank you so much. This channel holds those who have served in the military in the highest regards. We appreciate it. The sacrifice you have made, the sacrifice your family has made, it's not easy, and we just thank you so much. God bless you and your families. Thank you. Also, did you guys see this? I don't know what to think of this. I think this is just weird, awkward. I don't get a good feeling about it, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Zach Bremer reported this. A number change on the Eagles website. Josh Sweat is now number 19. He wore 94 in 2019. He wore 75 in 2018. And Tanner McKee is now 16. Well, Tanner McKee being 16 is fine, but Josh Sweat, number 19. What a weird number. What an odd number. What's he thinking? That's what I want to know. What is he thinking? Just kind of strange, you know. Nonetheless, he changes his number, and my feelings are this. Josh Sweat's got a lot of pressure on him this year. A lot of pressure, okay? Will Josh Sweat rebound? That's going to be a huge question for the Eagles and for Josh Sweat. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bleacher Report was talking about James Bradberry, and they were talking about places where he could actually go. And one of the places that came up that would be a good fit for him, and I actually like this, is a team by the name of the Arizona Cardinals, with a coach by the name of Jonathan, I'm shady as hell, Gannon. And Bleacher Report proposed this trade. In this trade, let me ask you if you would do this or not, okay? But the deal would have Bradberry and a 2025 fourth-round pick to the Cardinals in exchange for a 2025 fifth-round pick. Don't you feel like the Eagles should be getting back the fourth-round pick? So it should be like the 2025 fifth-round pick and Bradberry for a fourth-round pick return. You would think that's what it is, but it's not. So the Eagles would basically give up Bradberry and a fourth for a fifth-round pick in 2025. My feelings are this. I probably would do it, even though you're getting absolutely nothing for Bradberry. I mean, obviously, if I could get more. But the idea of getting rid of Bradberry in a trade appeals to me a lot. And one of the reasons why is because if you trade Bradberry, it's the only real way that you could get out of that contract. It's the only real way that you could come out with $1.2 million in cap space. So you need to really trade him. I would do it just to get rid of him. I think with where it seems like Isaiah Rodgers, and we'll see where he ends up, if he ends up on the outside or the inside, but it just seems like you got a lot of guys on the outside, and I want Quinyon Mitchell playing. So I might seriously think about doing it. The Cardinals, they got a ton of cap space. I think they got some problems in their secondary, and this is what they said. They said Gannon coached Bradberry in 2022 when he actually turned into a productive season. According to Pro Football Focus, Bradberry posted a 74.1 defensive grade and an 80.2 grade in coverage during 2022 season. Bradberry ranked 23rd in defensive grade and 11th in coverage among all cornerbacks. So it's possible that Bradberry maybe could rebound under Gannon. Now, there's two ways of thinking. Some people think that Bradberry is going to rebound this year. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's back, the change of coaching, and it'll help him. It might. I believe Bradberry has a confidence problem, and I believe that the confidence problem started because of the Super Bowl. So I don't know if he's going to get it back or not, but it will be really interesting to see. Nonetheless, what is he going to do? And like I said, Howie Roseman has a lot of money in cap space. He has a ton of money. Is he willing to eat some dead money to get rid of Bradberry? I don't know. If they keep Bradberry, like I've said, you gotta slide Isaiah Rodgers inside, man. You gotta get Quinyon Mitchell on the field this year. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Bradberry. In about another week and a half, we'll hopefully learn something. If they don't get rid of him by, I'd say, like June 4th or 5th, he'll head into camp on the Eagles. Maybe they get rid of him then. There's a lot of different options. There's a lot of different names of possible free agents floating around for the Eagles. One example was ESPN saying Calais Campbell's a guy the Eagles should go out and get. They said that the Eagles were actually the best fit for Calais Campbell, who's 38 years old, but he still had 6.5 sacks last year. He's very versatile on the line. I don't mind this move at all, by the way. I think you need to add depth in your defensive line. I will say this right now. We've talked about the wide receiver endlessly. And we're talking about the depth at the wide receiver position. We have talked about the secondary. We don't talk enough about the edge rushers, in my opinion. You need another defensive end. You need another one, whether it's a guy you bring in just for the year, somebody that you're going to have multiple years. But you've got Brandon Graham probably last year with the Eagles, and then you have a whole thing with Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat is a giant question mark right now. I mean, he's a gigantic question mark. And people say, how could Josh Sweat be a question mark? Josh Sweat's a question mark in this regard for me. With Hassan Reddick not being there, not being in Philly anymore, it is apparent to me that Josh Sweat has to take over. He has to be your number one edge rusher, in my opinion. He has to be your number one pass rusher. He has to go out and get double-digit sacks. I need double-digit sacks from Josh Sweat, who's only done it one time in his career. He did it not just last year, but he did it the year we went to the Super Bowl. He had 11. And if you look at his career, he was getting better every year. He had like 7.5, and then it went up to 11. But last year, it really dropped off. He only had 6.5 sacks. You need more production from Josh Sweat. And Josh Sweat really has a lot of pressure on him. He has to show up. Not only do the Eagles need him to show up, but if he wants to get paid, if he wants to get a massive payday, then he needs to go out and get at least double-digit sacks. I think anything less than 10 sacks for Josh Sweat, to me, is a disappointment. I'm really counting on him to rise up and be something. But even if he is, then you still have the other questions. Bryce Huff, Nolan Smith, So I think an edge rusher is especially, like another defensive end would be a huge bonus for the Eagles. Somebody to get into the rotation. Calais Campbell, he could play inside, he could play outside. He's a depth piece to the defensive line. Is he the answer you want at defensive end? I don't know about that, but there's guys, and I know Yannick Ngakoue, we talk about him all the time, but there are guys out there that they still could bring in that will be productive and help the rotation. Are there a trade out there? Is there somebody that can get trade like Hendricks that we talked about yesterday? I don't know. I don't know who's out there in a trade, but you never know. Howie always finds somebody. However, I am not comfortable with the defensive, with the edge rushers as we see it. I think Carter and Jordan Davis, I think they'll be really good this year. But Bryce Huff, He's got to prove himself. Nolan Smith, got to prove himself. And then Josh Sweat, he's got to go prove that he can do double-digit sacks more than 1 year. So a lot of questions there. And really, that's where I think you could see the Eagles possibly go. Like I said, Howie Roseman, $27 million in cap space. He's going to do something. He's going to do something. It will happen. I just don't know what it is. He's going to round out this roster. And that's what he really should be doing. A lot of people say to me, well, dude, look at all the moves we've done. We don't need anybody else. We're good with what we have. I disagree. If you have $27 million in cap space and you have Howie Roseman, why not get better? If you have the ability to improve, why not go and improve? Why just sit on your roster? To me, that just seems like a waste. When we were talking about the wide receiver yesterday and talking about a backup wide receiver on the outside, people said, well, most teams don't have good backup wide receivers anyways. Why do we need one? Yeah, most teams don't, but guess what? Most teams don't have $27 million or more in cap space this time of year. And if they do have the cap space, they're usually a team that isn't going to be that good anyways. The Eagles are competing for Super Bowl and have a ton of cap space. So why not take advantage of it? The reasons why teams don't have more depth on their rosters are because they usually don't have the money or the space to do it. The Eagles have both. So you should keep trying to make your roster better however you can. And I would say the three biggest areas of need, in as far as I'm concerned, another pass rusher, a linebacker, and then a third wide receiver or depth at the wide receiver position. To me, those are the three spots I really got to round out. You could also talk about, going out there and getting, another tight end or Justin Simmons if he's available, if people really want him. I'm okay with what we got in the secondary. I think we have too much. But I do think you need another pass rusher. And I do think, linebacker is another position where we have to look. Kwon Alexander is being linked to the Eagles. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but he's a possible guy that people are saying the Eagles should bring in to add depth at the linebacking position. We have a situation with Nakobe Dean where I really don't know what's going to happen. I like Nakobe Dean as a person, as a player. I just don't see him on the field enough. He is still not ready to practice right now. He's still not ready. Is he going to be healthy next year? It seems like Zach Bond is really the starting off the ball linebacker with Devin White right now. I don't think that lasts. Now, if Nakobe Dean comes in and he's healthy, is he go and play? I hope so. He's just got to play. Nakobe Dean could turn out to be good. We won't know unless he plays. And I tell you this, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., if you get him on the field, Trotter gets on the field, and he gets the chance to start because somebody's hurt. Once he goes, he's not relenting that job back. He goes in and he plays, it's over. He ain't giving the job back. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. will be a player for this team, and he will make an impact. But linebacker is another position you need to go out and possibly get. Now, Kwon Alexander, I like the kid, but he's coming off an Achilles. I don't want to mess around with Achilles, so I would probably pass on him. But yeah, I would keep my eyes open for another linebacker if I was the Eagles, a pass rusher, and then obviously a wide receiver. I think linebacker. I also think wide receiver, you could get done in camp, maybe through a trade with one of your defensive backs, edge rusher, pass rusher. Anytime one becomes available, if there's anybody that you could trade for, do it. Do it right away. But with $27 million, yeah, you better believe it. Howie Roseman is going to make some more moves. He is going to add depth to this roster. He's going to round it out, and he's going to pull the trigger if somebody good comes available. And you know what? Something always happens during preseason or training camp where somebody shakes free or is available for a trade, and that's when Howie's got to strike. And that's what he does. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I just want to wish everybody, once again, a happy Memorial Day. I hope you enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. I am uploading this video, and then I am headed out. I am going to play chauffeur today and drive my wife and kids around to all these places they want to go shopping. It's going to be something. But you know what? It is what it is. I drive them around. They're happy with me. I get to spend some time with them, and then they spend all my money. What are you going to do? Denzel Washington, out.
Dude, what the fuck?
The Cooper! The flying
Oh my
Frenchman!
god! Oh my god!
C'est bon!
C'est
bon! I'm dizzy. We did it. We did it. We transformed the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. We now have a secondary that is going to be good for years to come. Because one, we got Quinyon Mitchell, but we also got the flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. That's right. The flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. C'est bon. Oh, here's another interception. That's right. Cooper DeJean is about to dominate the NFL. Can't wait to see him out on the field. And if you're like me and you thought this was a great move by the Eagles and you support this pick, then you definitely want to check out this shirt. The Cooper DeJean Flying Frenchman shirt. Look at this thing. You can see it in midair, flying through the air, transforming to an eagle. That's right. Cooper DeJean is here. Link is in the description. Get your shirt now while you can, because Cooper DeJean is about to take the Eagles to another level. Denzel Washington, out.